The WellFounder Podcast is proudly brought to you by 45 Fusion. Tired of low-quality leads that never turn into real sales? At 45 Fusion, we don't just get you leads, we get you buyers. With our Educate and Convert system, we turn your expertise into engaging content, put it in front of your ideal customers, and only book meetings with those who engage. The result? More high-intent leads who already understand your solution, so sales conversations move faster. We're so confident in our system that if you're not happy with the lead quality, you don't pay us a penny. Ready to get more high-intent leads? Visit 45fusion.com to learn more.
This is the WellFounder Podcast.
So, welcome to the show, Thomas. It's an absolute pleasure having you on today.
Yeah, thank you, Zavi, for having me over.
Yeah, I'm loving this podcast because it's allowing me connect with so many founders that are building great software tools out there. And Deployflow is one of them. It's a very interesting SaaS tool. And we're going to be talking more about it. Yeah. But before we do, could you introduce yourself to our audience? Tell us who you are and how you go into the work you do.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Thomas Radosh. I'm originally from Poland. I came to UK 20 years ago. I always was into IT and computers. It was kind of my passion since the early age. And I was very lucky that my career put me, especially at the beginning, put me in positions where I got to experience a lot of different things. I was working for managed service provider, which has its pros and cons, but the biggest pros for me was that I got to see so many different systems, variety, and I got to really experience those very quickly and then progress. And I had the opportunity to work for global enterprise like Vodafone, as well as the startups that became really huge. You know, one of those startups was Quantum Black that been acquired by McKinsey. Another one is Zilch that we're working with for 8 years now here at Deployflow. So it's been really great opportunity to work on different sides. And, you know, for me, the technology underpins everything. So, you know, whether you're a startup or enterprise, you are going to use more or less the same tools. You know, they might be at different license tiers, but you're using fundamentally the same set of the tools, and especially with the progression towards the cloud, a lot of people start using the same items together. So I've been privileged that I got to experience, play around and interact with a lot of those items. And that kind of helped me, the benefits of that I can see very much helped me in the deploy for growing it and setting it up, because I was as well being privileged to work with great mentors who really kind of helped me to understand how I can drive and influence people and deliver the right value for the organizations.
That is so cool. Especially, it's difficult sometimes to build this company because I know that there's a lot of competition in this space, and you guys are in the cloud space and stuff like that. I always like to know though, how did the name come about, Deployflow? I'm guessing there's some relation there to what you do.
Deployflow as a company is only 8 years now. Now, before that, the company itself has been around for 15 years. It started as a Concert IT. So that started because I was finishing a permanent employment and I was going to contracting, and you need a limited company. One of the friends said, "Oh, you might want to use something Latin. It's very popular." And he's actually a serious entrepreneur with multiple businesses. And he's like, "Oh, you should use something Latin." And I kind of like said, "Okay, Concert IT was standing for Connect IT effectively." And it was just a one-man band for many, many years because it was just used for doing some contracting work and doing projects in different parts of the world. But then kind of 2017, 2018, it kind of changed in a sense that I noticed a big gap in the market for DevOps. Back then, DevOps was pretty much a buzzword that everyone was talking about and became very, very needed. Kind of with the cloud maturing, cloud systems becoming more affordable, and they kind of start making more sense to put data on and interact with. We kind of together with my co-founder, we thought at the time, he joined now then, and we said, okay, we're going to build something on the DevOps, cloud, and kind of creating something that allows you to offer the service to the businesses. And we consider IT is kind of not a right name for that. It became a little bit more challenging to kind of go to the business, and everyone always had the issue of how to spell it and all of that. And we were just I remember we went to Reading actually a couple of days ago. I was actually right outside the building, and it was one of those you can rent the office for a day or something like that. And we rented the office for a long brainstorming session. We're going through, and we kind of the DevOps kind of all of the different names with that, and we kind of stumble upon, and we're talking, okay, it's a deployment and it's a flow of that, and kind of from there, kind of the Deployflow as the name came up. And as you do when you set up a company name, you first check, is there a domain available? The domain was available, so there you go. But it's a combination of the deployment and the flow of that. That's the DevOps, if you think about it, it is very much about creating that flow, the automation of the flows, creating them more self-sustainable, self-manageable. And that's how the name came around.
I love it. I love a good, a cool story like that. Especially as you're talking, I was thinking about myself because I've had to name a few companies myself, and getting that the right name where you're happy with this challenge. And back then there was no Chat GPT, so these days
it was writing on the whiteboard and then checking, is the domain available or not. But no, it's so that we rebranded that back then, and that's kind of, that was as well the point that the company started growing. We started hiring people, we brought more people on board, because it kind of changed from me doing a little bit of contracting here and there or some small projects to actually becoming a sustainable business that we can grow and we can deliver services to our clients.
Love it. All right, then let's talk about what you guys do exactly. Could you tell us? Let's really nail down what exactly do your customers hire you for, and what do you do for them?
Yes, so I think there's two primary things. The main one that kind of became a lot bigger is in a kind of strange way, even though we call it Deployflow, it's the managed support aspect. And what I mean by that is kind of from your traditional IT support team that is on the ground, supporting the end users, working remotely. So that became quite big for us. We have two of the largest UK dairy farms are our clients for that support. We have engineers on site helping and managing the infrastructure network for them and all the aspects to do with that. And then the second part of the managed support is the application support. So that's what we helping Zilch with. We have a team of the application support engineers who are working on the client system to rectify any issues, monitor the logs, identify challenges, and then work on resolving that. So that's the managed support kind of aspect, which became very big naturally over time. And then the second one is, as the core, is the DevOps services. So DevOps as a service, we have a team of the engineers who work on different projects. Now, the DevOps includes few other things within it as well. So it kind of pulls in the data, pulls in the cloud architecture, solution architecture, all of those kind of roles that sit within that. We kind of call them the DevOps. And for a lot of the clients with DevOps, they start with the part-time engagement. And the reason behind it is, if you think about where DevOps sits within the cycle, your developer is going to work on the code. They're going to then push it to the deployment. The deployment things is usually where the DevOps kind of sits. That's where most of the work happens, because they get the code. They kind of need to make sure the tools do the right thing. They execute, they deliver, they push into the environment, and then they just monitor the environment. But the majority of the work for them happens in that, you've got the ellipsis as a symbol for the DevOps, the infinity. So when you think about the DevOps, the majority of the work happens at that cross. That's where the development and the monitoring is kind of the smaller parts for the DevOps kind of cycle. The crossing is where the most of the work happens. So we tend to see that the need for DevOps is more cyclical. So that's why we provide those resources, and we have quite a few clients that use that service. And what we notice is often organizations come to us and say, okay, I need help with the DevOps. Oh, can you help me with my infrastructure? Can you help me with this? Where then the managed support kind of comes in. But within the DevOps, we kind of help organizations to optimize and build the cloud architecture as well. So we're working with them to kind of understand what platform, what tools, what items make most sense. Because the cloud, I've been very privileged that I was working on Microsoft Azure back in 2008.
Wow.
Before it kind of became what we know now as Azure. So I was very privileged to kind of have had a kind of inside experience over the years of how the inner works of cloud behaves. And we're working on a lot of AWS projects as well, working with multiple startups over the years. If you look at the kind of the separation of the cloud, AWS seems to be the main cloud for the startups. They have a great startup program. They really kind of been built on this idea of something new. Microsoft Azure is amazing for enterprise, their enterprise agreement, being able to move your data center in between. So that's kind of where the common, I know that they are now, going after different client bases, but fundamentally, historically, those being the two main kind of target that they had, even though they're always looking for more. But it working across all of them, as well as the Google Cloud and a few other products, it helped me to kind of understand the opportunities and the challenges with each one of them. And so when our clients comes to us and say, I'm building this product, this solution, I'm trying to build something, our experience and our team experience allows me to bring the right recommendation. I'm able to look at it and say, actually, for this, because of that being your core, you might be benefiting from going with Azure or AWS or Google Cloud for those specific items, because those specific use cases, we've been privileged enough to have seen and experienced them at some point in the past, and I can kind of help to guide the client into the right. So we have the great team of solution architects who worked with large enterprise and startups and successful startups, and we can recommend to the organization the right solution. And then so that's kind of the DevOps cloud angle and the managed service. And the last thing that we have is that we kind of start launching more and kind of building the customer base for is what we call the P Suite. And the P Suite is your basically a development team in a box. If you think about it, if you're a large organization and you want to build something new, you want to test an idea, or you have got a solution that you already built, but you need to now build it 10 times for different client bases. It's going to be time consuming to use your own internal team and resources. You're going to have to dedicate their time and work. Whereas if something is well documented, what we can offer you, we can provide you with a team, and you can obviously scale the team up and down depending on the requirements. But basically, we just working on one of the clients at the moment, and for them, we provide them a team of 5. So it's 2 backend engineers, 1 front-end engineer, a tester, a business analyst / project manager, and they have a fixed cost per sprint for that. And the kind of the seniority of the team kind of can vary, and it allows the client to basically say to us, saying, "Okay, I built this integration with one. I know I have documented, you take this and build this integration with 10 other customers or clients or partners." So that's kind of one aspect. And the second aspect is, you can be a startup, and we're working with a company called Data Whisper, which is this new amazing AI tool for financial markets. And, they came to us and they said, okay, we want to build this tool. We provided them with the P Suite, which consists of the, 2 backend engineers and data scientists, a DevOps engineer, a front-end engineer that then goes and builds this for the client. So you get a team that we provide you with. We make sure it's the right skill set. You obviously can do interview with them, but it kind of creates this ability for you to bring this team and kind of scale them up and down as needed, and speeds up the whole process for you, because you don't have to worry about are they the right skills, are they right experience, because we can add and support with other resources. So for example, if the DevOps person might struggle, we internally we have a bigger DevOps team that he can go in and ask the question about specific functionality or a feature that he's struggling to customize or build, and we have the broader team that can support you in solving those issues as well. Because I always say that technology is moving at a crazy rapid pace. If you think about kind of the changes and development even within the AI systems at the moment, it's every couple of days there's something new. DeepSeek, breaking everyone's mind the other day. But there's always evolution. But what I notice is that there's a level of cyclical kind of experience with it. And the reason why I'm saying it, my dad was IT director, so I was kind of close to computers pretty much since I was born. But I remember him talking about the big mainframes at the universities with the punch cards, and you had to go in and queue, and it did the work for you. And then we kind of moved to the personal computers. We then moved back to the mainframes being the cloud. If you think about it, the mainframe is effectively cloud. We're saying it's a server room, but you don't know whose server room it is or where it is, but you're effectively just dumping the workload, this gets processed, and you get the results back. So the cyclicism of the kind of the IT is happening, and we kind of then going to personal mobile devices, replacing personal computers. I always my wife has a thing that she will only do on the phone, or she will only do on the laptop, depending on the priority or kind of the tools she's using. And for other people, they would just do everything on the phone nowadays. The Gen Z or whichever the generation Alpha, they would never use the computer. And I think there's kind of the cyclicism of the IT happening, and if you understand that, you will be able to kind of position yourself, and you'll know what's going to be happening, where it's going to be changing, and it makes it easier to align and kind of prepare yourself to deliver the value to the clients in the right way.
I love it. You guys cover such a broad range. As you were talking, I'm thinking, are they related, or are they three different compartments of businesses? But
there's so many. There's so much crossover between them. And what you'll notice, like I said, we started with the DevOps. And we started with the DevOps saying, okay, we'll do that. And then the client said, oh, could you help with this? And, my background has been, IT support when I started in IT. And I was like, of course I can help you with the end user support and device management of that. It's my, I can do it in my sleep, kind of. So you kind of like, you enter through one, but because of that offering, it's kind of those two offerings are very compatible. They kind of, in a way, they don't overlap, but they complement each other very well. And then with the development team, we always, my business partner, Prakash, he's always been a product person. He has always a great visions and kind of like helping businesses to build the products. That has kind of been his background. And, because in order to build product, you need to have the development team, and the DevOps and the kind of works with development already anyway. And, being able to deliver that, it kind of became natural connection for us to expand to provide the software development services as well. So while they are three separate departments, and they each has its own unique offering, they are very much complementing each other with a lot of our clients. And a lot of our clients engage across all three. So I can give you an example. One of the farms that we're working with, we have obviously the managed support team. We're helping them with migrating to the cloud, which is the more DevOps team working on. and they had a product idea that we're working on. That we brought the software development team to help deliver that product. But what helped to them was that was all done by kind of the one organization. They knew the kind of the account manager. They had the right relationship. So if there was any issue or challenge, it's much easier for you to be able to kind of have a discussion and clear up those items quickly. So I think it creates those offerings, like I said, they are very complementary of each other, and they provide a great value to our clients.
I love it. I love the flexibility that you offer these guys, like especially use those as you scale or if you need to downsize. I am thinking though, it must be maybe not, but maybe it's a challenge for your sales team, like doing outreach. Like, do you try to get customers for this department or this department or that, or do you get bring in one and then upsell the other
No,
department?
I think it's always you kind of aim for the sales team, and we have really talented sales team that we built over the last few years. We aim them at a specific. You see, kind of different demands happening in the market at the time.
I see.
So we aim them at a specific solution at the time. So, for example, there's at the moment Microsoft, for example, removes the licensing for the Microsoft Dynamics Navision on-prem. So you need to migrate to the cloud. So we built a campaign around that helped organization do the transition, and we have had success with that. We started with this, and then progress. And once you deliver that, support service, managed service kind of naturally comes in. So we find that you are much more likely to cross-sell and then you are to be able to win new business. I think everyone knows that it's much easier to grow existing customers than this to acquire a new one.
Yeah.
So when the sales team go out to the market to acquire new clients, they try to identify the right audience for the offering. So for example, for this month they're going to be concentrating on all the customers that might need managed support services. Next month they might be talking to startups around this development team. So we try to aim them at the time at the specific offering that kind of fits best the audience. And we're not kind of getting everyone to be selling everything always. We try to kind of concentrate on Magento developers at the time, or Shopify shop, or something like this, and kind of build the campaign, build our social media kind of content around that, kind of create that movement, and then work through that. So I think that's how we kind of build that functionality of the sales team.
I like it. If not, it's going to be like a serious nightmare. Like, if everybody just did it. So who makes that decision then? Who decides? And do you guys have like a yearly plan that we're going to go?
The company has three founders, effective owners. It's myself, my wife, and Prakash, who's my co-founder. So the three of us are kind of the executive leadership team. But because we keep on growing, we brought in now kind of the what you would call a middle management team tier within the organization. We have amazing kind of sales and marketing manager and the support manager and all of those different functions. But we work myself, Prakash, and I, we would sit down and kind of look what is the plan for the year, what's our targets, what our objectives are. And we would then work together to kind of define those. We would then work with those managers in order to achieve those and deliver those. For example, for last year, for the head of our managed services team, the main objective was the delivery of the ISO 27001 certification as a business. It's a validation step that we need to complete in order for us to continue to pursue different client, different engagement. It was as well a big tick box when we got onto our cloud, G Cloud, and the government cloud in UK to be one of the providers. So we had kind of set certain objectives that the team is then working towards. And then, with the sales team, we have that's kind of more Prakash's side. He's driving sales and marketing function more, but he has weekly meetings. We tracking those activities. We talking together. And we kind of helping them we take the input from them. They are closer to talking to the clients, new clients, a lot more. So we take the input, we put it all together and align it with the plan that we have for the year, with our objectives. And it's the one thing that when you're really small startup, you do everything. You have to do it. That's the way of the there is no 9 till 5 and you're shutting down your computers. It's 5 till 12 or 12 till 12, whatever it is you need to do. You're doing that. But the challenge with that is that it relies only on you. You are effectively the biggest driver and the biggest limiter of the growth of the company. So in order for you to take those next steps, you need to bring people that you can trust. As I said, a lot of the management team is people we know for many, many years from before. So those are not kind of the new hires. Those are people we have got a relationship and we have built the trust outside of the work environment as well. And I think you need to find that balance. I'm not saying you have to always hire your friends. It's got both positive and negatives as well. But I think it's as well. It makes it a little bit easier if you have found the right fit for the role. Like if you know someone that that's going to do really, really well in the position, give them opportunity as well, because you having a startup, a company, you are in privileged position that you can create opportunities for other people. And all three of us as a founders, we're always very passionate about creating an opportunity for somebody else, creating an opportunity for somebody else to grow, to kind of experience more, to learn. And it's important that you give chances to people. And you have to obviously do it in a controlled environment. You shouldn't be hiring as a CEO someone who just got out of school. They have to have some experience. But you can create those opportunities. Sometimes you need to take a chance on some people. They might not interview the best way, but as we all know, sometimes you're doing an interview and you are a bit too stressed and you're not doing very well yourself. But sometimes you can see things that going to really grow in that person, and sometimes it's worth take a chance. And like I said, you need to create that layer in order for you to grow as a business. You need to be able to delegate and empower people to make the decisions. And I, having managed IT support teams in the past, one thing that I always said to them is, I'm the firewall between the rest of the business and you. If something goes wrong, I'm the one that takes the blame. You don't have to worry about, this is going to go wrong. I'll have to be doing things. No, you don't have to worry about it. I'll be the one that's going to deal with that. But in order for me to be able to deal with that, I need to know what happened. In IT, especially in the technology space, I always say, it's not a question if, it's a question of when you're going to mess something up. Personally, I have deleted a production database once or twice. I have done a silly thing that, could have had a tremendously bad effect. I have learned from it, and, so will everybody else who works in technology. And, the most important thing, you need to learn. You need to learn from it in the sense that I know what I can do next to not make it happen. So I always say, as I have the team meetings with the team, I always tell them as well, I want you to tell me, what did you mess up this week? I want you to be frank and honest. Yeah. And I'm not saying it for you to, you're going to be punished or you're in trouble because, no, I'm using that as a way for you to teach other people to not do the same. Because, if you see that something has gone wrong, first of all, I want to know why it went wrong. So what did we not have in place to prevent it from happening? Whether it's a process, whether it's a policy, whether it's design that kind of make it easy for that mistake to happen. And second, I want you to share it so that everyone else is going to be having this in the back of their mind. If they're going to go down this path, I remember it went wrong. Let me check. And I find that people we always talk about, telling about our success. But I think the success does not teach you.
Yeah.
Success is a result of the hard work. The thing that teaches you is your failures.
Yeah.
Because you do a failure, you learn from it, and you iterate.
Yeah.
As we do with the software, you iterate on what you have built. You find some new bugs, you make it better every time. And that's how we're getting better. And I think when we concentrate just on the successes, we're losing all the learning that comes as part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I love that. I love that approach. Like, I love it when the bosses make it easy for their staff to be vulnerable, if that's the word, and not be afraid to share. Because there was you bring back memories. There was a time I used to work for this guy. I used to be so scared of making a mistake because of if you make a mistake, that's pretty much it for you. So it really helps with that kind of mindset. I love it. I am thinking though, based on what you've told me, what you guys do, is it actually doable? Or say I wanted to start a SaaS company, and then have you guys handle all the technical stuff and handle the marketing and bringing in the customers? Is that kind of possible with your company?
So we are not a marketing agency, so
Yeah.
we wouldn't necessarily be the right people to drive the marketing activities that you might have, but we are definitely an entity that can help you build the product. So one of the we built Deployflow. Deployflow kind of have its own kind of weight now. It's kind of rolling on itself. It's kind of continuing quite well. And both myself and my co-founder, we're looking at different ways. So we noticed a gap in the market for the backup solution around the Office 365 and the cloud. Everyone kind of moved to cloud, and everyone kind of got caught out by that. Microsoft, for example, Microsoft, you pay for Microsoft for Office 365. They assure you the availability of the service, but they do not assure you availability of your data. Your data is still your responsibility. So a lot of people assume, I've got it in Microsoft, I don't need to do backup. And it's only when you're larger enough that the Microsoft comes in and say, we'll do an audit for you. And one of the first points in the audit is, you need to have a backup because we are not backing up your data. So we saw the gap in the market. Lots of backup solutions that rely on on-prem infrastructure, old semantic backup exec, or some of the older solutions. They were all relying on you having physical servers or tapes or whatever the solution was, and you were backing it up on premise, which works well for a large business, traditional business, but it's not suitable for startups that often has no office. Everything is in the cloud. They do not have any functional location that they would put the server to do the backup on. So we saw the gap in the market, so we decided to build a product. It's called Recoverable AI, and it's a backup solution for your cloud services. So you can back up Dropbox, Office 365, Google Workspace, and tools like this. But the backup itself was fine. But what we noticed as well, the AI becoming more and more of the buzzword. And I know it's a buzzword because it's basically enhanced machine learning, if you think about it in a very core. And, people build amazing tools on that. But, how can you use the AI to help businesses? So what we have done within the Recoverable, we're building the tools to help you give more visibility. So, for example, you have automated notification if the volume of change of data is dramatically different than the established average for that person. So let's say, a user X is doing, let's say it's got a 10 gigabyte OneDrive and doing a change of a 1 gigabyte every day because, pictures, upload, download, all of that. And then the next day he does a change of 10 gigabytes. So effectively everything changed. You, as an administrator, you can get alert notification to tell you that this is happening. And the reason why we're doing that is, if you think about the most tricky or the most common attack nowadays, it's all about ransomware, where people encrypt your files. How does the ransomware works? Ransomware gets access to your computer and then goes and change all the files on your system they can find. So by getting that visibility, you can see, okay, I saw such a big change in the data. Do I need to be reacting? Do I need to be concerned? Do I see it with just one user? Do I see it with all the users? So you actually get a point on time that you can do that. And then the second integration of the AI into the product is kind of the automation of the backup process in terms of how often you do. because we monitor the volume of change of the files. We're able to then determine that those files, because of the volume of change happening, they need to be backed up and a lot more frequently, whereas those files, they rarely ever change. So you can have a once a day kind of more traditional backup approach with it. So, and we that was as well kind of our first use of the P suite internally. We kind of saw the opportunity. We built, combined the team of the specialists. We put them to the task. They built the product that's kind of now starting to build kind of the momentum on the market. And I think it's when you start at one company, you're often going to start something else. You're going to have some other ideas, and that kind of has been with us as well. Kind of we thought there's a gap in the market. We created something using what we have in house, and that kind of allowed us to kind of push forward and create other opportunities for the organization to grow as well.
I love that. I love it. It's handy, and when you have that team, if an idea comes in your head, you could just give it to them, go do it.
Yeah.
So
So going back to your question, that would be kind of how we would come. We would come as a more development. The P suite would help you build the product. We have great solution architects, great product managers with the experience who can help. And what we often start with is like a workshop. It's usually 2 days of sitting together and just bashing the ideas out. We try to do it in person. During COVID, we're doing it remotely only, but you then need more time because you can be in the office together for 8 hours with someone, but nobody can do 8 hours of the Zoom call. People just can't do it. But the aim is to go through, look at all the different personas, identify the gap in the market, the opportunity, how the solution, what's the competition market like. We go through that kind of the discovery workshop together. We help you to design and kind of create that. And then what's our value for us with that workshop as well is that often enough, when you come to consultancy and you ask, okay, I need to build this product, they'll come to you and say, okay, we need 6 months. As 6 months goes by and say, oh, we need another 6 months, or we need another whatever, we run out of funds, whatever it is. By doing this discovery workshop, we are limiting what the difference is between what we forecast they're going to take and how long it's actually going to take in real life. Because we kind of identify a lot of the gaps, we identify a lot of the challenges already, and that helps us to make sure that what we propose you when it comes to building that is actually a lot more in line of what it's going to really take versus just us finding continuously that it's going to be, you're going to need more time or more resources.
Makes sense. I really like that. You guys are really, really, what you do is very, very, obviously, like you said, you've been doing this for a while and you've built the team. You were telling me before we started recording, up to 60 employees at this stage, all over the world. So you guys are a proper team, and must really help, like for me, because I have so many ideas that I could have for SaaS, but to develop that's where I just put it aside. I just did. Well, yeah, I love it. So, Thomas, we've come to the end of what is a wonderful, wonderful chat. I've enjoyed chatting to you. I could chat with you forever about this, but I don't want to keep you longer.
It's very, very nice. No, just the one thing that I was going to say, it's when I look back at the Deployflow journey, as I mentioned, the value has been bringing the right people and giving the people opportunity. And the one thing that a lot of organizations forget is at the end of the day, you operate in a space where people are part of it. And we make very focused effort on being people-centric. We center it around the people. Our solution has to bring value to you as the organization, to your people, to your business. And we're not building a solution for the sake of solution. And, it's great to look at the newest tool and, the next greatest AI tool is going to come up and force everyone to use it. But how is it really going to make difference to your day-to-day business? And I think this is kind of what has been unique for us. We prioritize people, and we align the technology and the processes to that. Your business is most important is people are going to deliver the success for any business. Any of our clients, ourselves, we build our solutions to help your people deliver better value to your business, and that comes first, for us. And I think that's the one thing that I would recommend anyone who's starting a business: always look out for the people. Because if your value is delivering value to people, to individuals, you can really build something amazing. Whereas if you're just building a technology for the sake of the technology, it's still going to be great, but it's harder to bring that and showcase that value to individuals.
I love that. I love the people-centric, because I'm a big fan of that as well, especially in this world of AI, where everything is going to be so fake, and well, we're already there. I always say the more human your business is going forward, that's going to be a big differentiator than anywhere we are going. So I really love that. Your staff must love working for you. For real, there was.
Well, I have to say, we've been very lucky that we have very low staff turnover.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of people leaving. Most of the people have been for years here with us. I know it's as well for us. It's always about the user empowerment. You're not just providing a service. We actually want people. So our approach, when I was working for one of the large consultancy, it was always about lead, teach, support. So, you start by leading something, doing that for the client. You then kind of transition more to you do everything. You then transition to be the leadership team of that team that's doing that, but the rest of the team comes from the client side. And then you move to just support, where you are supporting the client in doing the things themselves. And for us, it's important that our clients can feel that they still own all of the aspects of the solution or of the technology. We are bringing you support, but we giving you the empowerment that if you want to do anything with it, it's yours. You can do whatever you want with it. You don't rely on us for all of the aspects.
Love it. And that way you feel more like a partner with them, like a complementary.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Thomas, this has been a wonderful chat. I always like to wrap up with, you've given some awesome gems. The whole people-centric thing I love that. But I would like to ask for one final tip, especially for a new, I'm sure a new founder could learn so much from you. What's one thing you could say to him when it's at the early stages of building their business? What's one thing you'd say that would actually make it move a needle in their business?
So I think there's two things.
Okay.
The first one is fail often and fail fast.
I love that.
That's the one thing that, because if you learn to fail, you will learn to kind of move forward from that very quickly, and you're actually going to learn a lot through the process. That's what I was saying. Your failures are what make you great. It's not your successes. So learn to feel comfortable with that feeling of didn't work out. Go for reiterate and go. And the second thing is, and I think this is one thing, that being a founder, especially at the very beginning, it's extremely lonely place because there's not a lot of people that you can interact or talk to. Find people who you can trust. Find people who might have similar experience but might not. But people who that you can turn to and bounce ideas off. Both myself and my co-founders Prakash and Anna, we have people in our lives outside of the company circle that we can go to and we can ask them and we can share with them. And having somebody like this who's not connected, who's not maybe an investor or somebody like this, but someone who you feel comfortable to share is something that's going to help you along the way. Because, like I said, it's a lonely place, it's a long hours, it's a lot of effort, it's a lot of stress. And having someone you can go to and say, I feel rubbish and everything I'm doing is going wrong. And having someone who's going to be there for you through that is such a tremendous value. And I think finding those people in your life is really what makes a huge difference. It makes difference for us.
I can totally relate, especially when in the early stages of my business. You're spot on. It's you need somebody to be bouncing those ideas with you. Like, sometimes you need somebody to even tell you, stop, don't do this.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. And and it's important that this person isn't invested or involved in the business, because business becomes like your baby. You think about it all the time. You invest your time, effort, and sometimes we kind of put the pink glasses and we see everything in this. Everything's going great, but we don't know what we don't know yet. As you've been doing the business for many years, you kind of learn to see the sign. I can see this happening, or there's this change. Election, whatever it is, the change is going to have impact on the business. You learn that with experience. You might not have that experience today. And having that conversation with someone who's outside, who's not invested, but you can kind of talk to them, they might point to you the things and areas that are going to make you think twice. And that's how you can actually achieve a great success, because you're going to have people outside of your core, because we tend to surround ourselves with people who think like us or do the same thing as we do. Sometimes it's important to have a third perspective, someone who's not thinking like us.
Couldn't agree more. Thomas, this has been awesome, an awesome chat. I would love to have you back on again if you ever want to come on and chat some more. That would be awesome.
Sure.
That'd be awesome.
Thank you very much. It was great conversation.
Awesome. Where can our viewers go learn more about Deployflow or connect with you? What's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, so I think the best is obviously our website, deployflow.co. As well, we are on LinkedIn. I can find myself as well on LinkedIn. I'm always happy to have a conversation with anyone. And I'm having been doing it for so long. You learn that, like I mentioned, having someone else you can talk to, and someone can tell you, okay, what you're doing is wrong, but doing it in a way that it separates the emotional kind of impersonal relationship, but having a conversation is like, actually, I think this would be best for your business, and being frank and open about it is good to have. So, LinkedIn, our website, Instagram. If you just look for Deployflow, there's no other Deployflow. It is now trademarked. It's our brand name. We made one of those places.
So, and we're gonna leave all of that in the show notes. Thomas, thank you so much for coming once again. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you as well for your time, Sally. Have a lovely afternoon.
The WellFounder Podcast is proudly brought to you by 45 Fusion. Tired of low-quality leads that never turn into real sales? At 45 Fusion, we don't just get you leads, we get you buyers. With our Educate and Convert system, we turn your expertise into engaging content, put it in front of your ideal customers, and only book meetings with those who engage. The result? More high-intent leads who already understand your solution, so sales conversations move faster. We're so confident in our system that if you're not happy with the lead quality, you don't pay us a penny. Ready to get more high-intent leads? Visit 45fusion.com to learn more.